working away now for a little while on these projects, Bingara and Nundle, since completing the acquisition back in April. Interesting, Bingara, what we've announced today is really pulling together work we've been doing and since prior to completion. So the SAM survey we flew late January, and then we did the LiDAR in April, May. In parallel with all that, we did a bit more rock chip sampling. So really pulling all that together and giving us a really good story about what's happening at that Mt Everest-Mona trend. Some fantastic rock chip results announced today from Mount Everest area. But the thing that I guess really excites us is the trend of workings that extend, particularly to the north from Everest. But then the Mona trend, which is a couple of k's further north, we've identified around about a kilometre of workings there. And as best we can tell, that's never been sampled at all. So we've got these really fantastic trends. We've got some fantastic results from work that's been really focused at the Mount Everest workings. But the opportunity now looks much, much larger than that. So, that's the next round of work we'll be doing, is really scoping that out. The initial drilling we've locked in, that's Spring Creek, where we've had the bit of drilling that's been done on the Bingara project was there, and we've got some really good historical work to step away from. So we know the mineralisation there. Now we're going to look at that and see how big that can be. We've also got the LiDAR data over that part of the world as well, which we're still working through the interpretation of, but that will show us the extent of that zone. So that's sort of the first cab off the rank. The rest of it's really that systematic approach to putting all this together and understanding what we've got. So as we've talked about now, we've got the Mount Everest and Mona area that is coming up really well. So that's an area that, as we do more work, we're going to do some more geochemistry, do some really systematic exploration across that target area, and then define some drill locations from that. And then we've got a thing called Lone Hand, which is a gold occurrence to the south of Spring Creek. Fantastic old workings through there that as best we can tell, there's never been sampled, certainly not been drilled. So, again, it's really getting in those areas, working them up, and then getting them to be drill ready. And the same story down at Nundle. We've now identified at least 3 big systems down in the Nundle area, and it's really doing that fundamental work, getting us to a point. But what we really like about what we've got with our 2 projects in New South Wales is there different prospects within the projects at different stages, so we can be drilling on one while we're still working up targets on the next one that will then feed into the subsequent drilling program. So it's exciting for us to have those those opportunities lined up for us to go and explore and drill test. We're still working through the LiDAR data. So we've, given that we've got such a large land holding across the 2 projects, we've decided to break that into sort of bite-sized pieces. So far we've announced the Nundle Goldfields piece at the Nundle project, which is only about 90 square k's out of the 200 odd square k's we've got there. And as of this morning, we've announced the Mount Everest-Mona piece of that. We're still working through the other sections of that. So we've got some news flow will come from that. As I say, we're working on the Spring Creek area. So we're really looking to the LiDAR there to look at the extent of mineralisation at Spring Creek. So it's really, we're going to have a number of announcements linked to the LiDAR that'll be coming out. But really, I guess our real focus is on moving to this maiden drilling program. So there's going to be some updates around that as we get closer to starting the drilling.